And welcome into In Depth with Fox Carolina Sports. Hey there, I'm Aaron Cheslock. As we do each week, we catch up with local coaches and athletes and walk their path to their particular point in their careers. And we had a great episode for you this week with one of the stars of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Brett Kemp. Brett, first of all, thanks so much for joining us. Early on in the season, you got any wear and tear going on we need to know about? Or, you're a young guy. You're hanging in there pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's been quite a good start to the year. I think we're coming together as a team, and it's been fun getting to know everyone.
All right, so let's talk about that. 3-6 to start. Obviously, not the record you guys want, but there's so many positives with this bunch. You got a nucleus that went on a deep run to the postseason in the Kelly Cup playoffs last year. Got a bunch of new faces in here. What has the season been like so far in terms of this team gelling? Where do you kind of hang your hat where this is the most gives you the most hope and optimism?
Yeah, I think just knowing how far we've came right from the start of the year, I think every day we just come a little closer. I mean, there's a ton of new guys. I'm a new guy myself, and just trying to get to know the guys inside and out, off the ice, on the ice, and starting to build chemistry. I think we've definitely built a lot of chemistry in the locker room, and I think just kind of starting to know how each other plays and stuff like that. And I mean, it's definitely coming together pretty well.
When you look at a hockey team, and certainly when you're talking about professional hockey, but the AA level and all this stuff, you got interchanging parts in and out of the season. It's not quite like college hockey where you have a pretty good group of guys that you're playing with for a good stretch there. But the chemistry on the ice is so important in hockey, knowing where, the wing guy is going to be in order to put it in the right position for him. How long does that take in your experience? I know you're still kind of early in your career, but you played a lot of hockey. How long does it take for all that to gel? And, is there anything you can do to speed that process up to make it easier on everybody?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a certain time. I think every team's a little bit different. I think it's all starts with off the ice. I think more things you do as a team building, kind of getting to know your friends and the guys you live with. I mean, it's all different for me now, living in an apartment, not billets and stuff like that. And I mean, we're all working together, and I think it all starts off the ice, and that definitely builds on the ice.
What do you think of Greenville so far? Kind of off the beaten path from where you've usually been, right?
Yeah, it's a little different. It's a beautiful place, and the people here are unbelievable. They're all so nice, and I mean, the organization just kind of replicates the city. It's unbelievable. It's first class. Anything you need, anything you want, it's here. I haven't really got out, and I know there's lots of hiking trails and stuff like that, so I definitely got to go on those. But I mean, just walking around the city, it's definitely beautiful.
You see a guy like me walking around in 2 coats and a fuzzy hat and 50-degree weather, you just kind of laugh at that and keep on your day, or you feel compelled to say something, call us a wussy?
Yeah, sounds good. It's definitely different from Saskatchewan, though, for sure.
We're all tired of talking about COVID, right? But it is such a big part of the sports world. What is the impact of the pandemic? Hopefully we're on the other side of this thing, but you still want to take precautions and make sure you guys are doing the right thing so there's not an outbreak and games can get postponed or anything like that. How is that impact kind of hung around now? Second season going on with the pandemic. I know it's your first one in Greenville, but compared to your previous years of playing hockey pre-COVID.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think just wearing masks around the rink. I mean, this year we don't have to as much, but last year it was masks everywhere. You definitely it's a little bit more lenient this year with going out to do things and stuff like that. But I think it's definitely a serious pandemic that we're living in right now, and it still is here. So I think just for us as a team and as an organization, we got to take that in consideration and make sure we're staying healthy.
One of the good signs that we're at least hopefully over the hump of this thing is fans back in the stands. And in a game like hockey, they are so impactful, especially when you have a smart hockey fan base to know when to turn it up, when not to. How much of an impact do you guys notice from I mean, hockey fans just in general are cut from a different cloth, but how much do you guys notice it on the rink compared to last year? That completely different game here.
Yeah, it's night and day, honestly. Like you got to create your own energy when there's no fans, but now you got 4,000 fans yelling, screaming, and it's pretty cool. And to come down here, the fans are unbelievable. It's definitely fun to play in front of, and hopefully we can just keep getting more and more.
All right, let's walk through your brief history here for a bit, because you ain't that old. But from Yorkton, Saskatchewan, just a little bit north of here, your rookie season with the Swamp Rabbits, you were signed to an AHL deal, the Ontario Reign, and then you were assigned to the Swamp Rabbits in mid-October prior to the start of the season. What's that unknowingness like as a professional athlete, where you're going pro, you're going to this league most likely, but you're not 100% sure when or where or what. Is it anxiousness? Is it just wanting? I don't even know how to describe it, but there's just so much uncertainty year to year. How do you go about that? What do you tell your family? All that.
Yeah, it's definitely lots of uncertainty. Coming or going to LA, I honestly didn't know really where I was going to be. It depended kind of where their top guys were, but I actually drove from Saskatchewan to LA, and then I was there for 6 weeks, skating, training, whatever. And then I knew I was coming to Greenville, so I was happy, I was excited. I wanted to meet the guys. I couldn't hear enough good things about the organization and how they develop people and myself as a player. And so I drove from LA to Greenville. That was quite a road trip, but I was so excited and happy, and I just want to start playing hockey again.
What was the most memorable part of your cross-country drive across the states?
Probably going through Arizona when it was snowing. I didn't know it snowed in Arizona, so that was kind of crazy. It was dark out and there was white stuff all over, and I was honestly kind of shocked. I was like, I did not know it snowed in Arizona, but that was cold. It was like minus 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that, and I was just coming from LA that was plus 30, so it was definitely a change.
I can attest to that. We were in Phoenix multiple times. Clemson football has been playing national championships a bunch at the college level, and a bunch of those bowl games or national championships or whatever have been in Phoenix. And I can vividly remember us doing a show late at night, which I think it's only 2-hour time difference there. So if we're on a 10, it's 8 o'clock there. But the whole thing we're promoting is, the duel in the desert, this in the desert, all this in the desert. And so I walk out there in shorts and a sport coat, and I'm like, we're in the desert, da, 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 da. And I mean, it dropped to upper to mid 30s. And I was a hurting puppy about an hour on air. And even worse than my wife's a meteorologist and just did not get tipped off.
Yeah.
So I can attest that it does get cold in Arizona, even though you don't think so. Individually,
yeah.
You want to be better than 3 and 6 overall as a team, but individually, you've got a pretty nice start there. You're leading the team with 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists. Your first professional hat trick just over a week ago. What do you attribute that to? The fast start? How do you make sure that you stay humble and know that you have a long way to grow here?
Yeah, it's definitely a nice start to have, especially starting off my professional career. But I mean, the line mates I've been playing with are unbelievable. They're fast, they're skilled, they get in the corners, they're gritty. So I think the line I'm playing with right now is good, and we all complement each other in different aspects of the game. I think I just know it's a long year, and I just want to keep going.
When you score that second goal, do you remember how much time was left in the game?
I don't really know.
You remember if it was second or third period?
End of the first period.
End of the first period.
End of the
I'm always curious. You hear about baseball players where they get the triple, the single, and the home run, and then they're kind of thinking about that double. How much is that in the back of your head? Obviously, you're going for the win. I'm not saying that you're not putting the team first, but how much is in the back of your head? Get a hat trick here pretty easily, and I got a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, it's actually, I was in the first intermission, and I was like, wow, 2 goals in the first period. That's not a bad way to start, right? So, and our team was playing good. I think we were up 4-0 there, so we were all feeling pretty good. But we definitely let it slip that game, and I mean, I would take a win over a hat trick any night, but I mean, getting your first career hat trick or first professional career hat trick is definitely special, and I'll remember that forever.
You know, it's certainly a pretty cool accomplishment, especially, just 9 games in. I want to ask you a few questions here about your home province. Everyone at your level is trying to climb that ladder to get the NHL, right? But in Saskatchewan, the NHL and the province have kind of a touch and go relationship. Just to fill folks in, Saskatchewan, big place, a lot of people hadn't had an NHL team. In '83, the local province investor, and I don't even know how much you know this, so we'll see. I'm assuming it's talked about quite a bit, though. In '83, the investors in Saskatchewan bought the St. Louis Blues, but the NHL blocked the move. Then, they tried to jump back in the mix in 2012, 2017. Those teams ended up going to Vegas and Seattle, who just started this year. I guess this is more a question for like your dad and that kind of stuff, but what's the level of frustration? Because obviously hockey is such a big deal up there that you guys can't seem to land an NHL team. Who'd you grow up rooting for? How's that dynamic all work at the highest level of hockey in your home province?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. I know for me, growing up, I've always been a WHL. I obviously played in the WHL, and I would always watch their Regina Pats, and that's when Jordan Eberle played. So he's kind of been my favorite player growing up. And I mean, besides getting an NHL team, I know there's always talks of Regina, Saskatoon, probably most likely Saskatoon because it's a little bigger. But I mean, the fans would be insane there because anywhere you go, it's 3-4 hours only. And with hockey in Saskatchewan, it's certainly a driving force of the province. And I mean, you see the Pats, the Raiders, the Blades, all in the Western League. They always get good fans. They always got good teams. So I mean, an NHL team definitely be successful, I think.
When you think about the level of viewership and what hockey fans care about most, WHL, NHL, Olympics, how would you rank those 3 things?
Yeah, I think Olympics is always up there because it's just Canada, and I mean look at World Juniors, even everyone's watching on Boxing Day or whatever. You always plan your Christmas around World Juniors, so I think Olympics is just another thing like that. It's all the best of the players in the world, and then I would probably say NHL. It's the best professional hockey league that you can play in. So I think if you can ever go to one of those games, I know I always would go to watch the Flames because that was always the closest before the Jets. So I would always try to make trips or try to convince my parents to let me go to the games and stuff like that. And then, I mean, there's lots of elderly people in Saskatchewan that I know love to watch the WHL and the junior hockey because it's fast, it's hard hitting, and there's always good games going on.
Your state sport, or I guess your province sport, officially is curling, which I love during the Olympics. It's one of the most, it's not the most high-flying, action-packed sport, but I think it's just the strategy of it. I mean, to be honest with you, I sweep up enough after my kids every morning that I'm fairly certain I can be a gold medalist if you put that broom in my hand. You got the Rough Riders in the CFL, pretty strong fan base as well. But like, are you guys growing up playing curling at recess? How does curling and the actual new age athlete in Saskatchewan, how's that relationship? And I guess, to piggyback on that, what question 1B would be, where do the other sports rank behind hockey?
Yeah, I honestly, I think I've maybe played curling once or twice in my life. It's never been something that I've ever been drawn to, but I know that there's lots of tournaments that come through my hometown, even in Yorkton, and it's only 20,000 people, but the building's packed. And I know that it's definitely a popular sport in Saskatchewan, but I mean, hockey be right there. I know the Rough Riders they're hard. Everyone's a diehard Rough Rider fan. So, I mean, their new stadium there is unbelievable. I've been able to go watch a couple of games there. So, besides that, I know there's lots of university football and stuff like that gets quite a bit of people out there. So I think it's pretty. There's definitely a lot of sports that can attract a lot of fans for sure.
When you think about growing up in Saskatchewan, this is a random note that I learned from the internet, so I know it has to be true. But when I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and when I moved down here about a decade ago, I noticed in the summer there are just so many mosquitoes everywhere, and I can't quite handle the amount of mosquitoes that we have here in South Carolina. From what I'm grasping is that it's nothing compared to what it's like in the summer in Saskatchewan. Can you put that into layman's terms for us? How bad is it? Because those would be the months that I would avoid going there if that's the case.
Yeah, it's honestly, when you're at the lake, you're living in mosquito spray. It's so bad. You're sitting by the fire and you got candles, like mosquito candle fighter things all around. You're spraying mosquito spray on other people. So it's insane. It's bad. It's the worst when you get the hot breaks and it's plus 35 for a week, and at night it is still plus 25 in Celsius. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It definitely gets you itching at night for sure.
Now this is the furthest you lived away from home, right?
Yeah.
What do you miss most? What are you most homesick over, and what's the thing that you've discovered in South Carolina? You're like, oh, I wish we had this back home.
Yeah, I think both have beautiful sunsets. I know just at my apartment here, me and my girlfriend were taking pictures of the sunset because it's beautiful. And I mean, living on the prairies, you get sunsets every night. So the thing I miss about most, the thing I don't miss most is the snow. I know it snowed 2 feet in where I'm from a couple of days ago, so I definitely don't miss that. But maybe just friends and family. I think you will always miss them, and I hope they can get down here and see how beautiful it is. So I know I definitely miss those guys, and I hope they miss me too.
Yeah, man. Look, when I first moved down here, I haven't bought a snow shovel in 10 years. And I can remember, there was they called it a snowstorm where it was, I think, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and people were leaving their cars on the side of 385. I mean, it was crazy. And guys, just drive 10 miles per hour slower. You'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly,
not that big of a deal, but that is one of the major perks of living here in the South in the U.S. So as we get set to wrap up here, your head coach, Andrew Lord, came over to the team last year. I know you weren't here for it, but with so many accolades from his time overseas, multiple championships in different areas, and really turned this franchise around very quickly in year number one. When your coach is a guy that has ridden on the buses and gone through the ranks of the ECHL as a player, and to a man, everybody I talked to about him respects him as a hockey mind, and someone that played the game the right way and took care of his teammates. I got to imagine it's a lot easier to learn and take constructive criticism from a guy like that, just knowing that's on his resume. What's the relationship been like so far? Your opinion of him as a coach? He won't listen to this. You can say what you want, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's been unbelievable for me. Just kind of bringing me in from LA and knowing kind of what he brought to the table, what I wanted to bring to the table, and he's been unbelievable on keeping me accountable and pushing me to get to that next level. He's a great guy. He's easy to talk to. He definitely knows his stuff, and he's definitely very direct with kind of what he wants, and that's the kind of coach I like. He hates losing, which is always a good thing, right? So no, he's been unbelievable for me, and I know the guys love him. He's a phenomenal coach, and I couldn't ask for a better one.
All right, final question before we wrap up here. This is the open-ended Mad Libs one. The Greenville Swamp Rabbits season will be a success
if we win the Kelly Cup. That's kind of our goal, is to win a championship. It's definitely not the way we want to start, but you can definitely, you don't win the Kelly Cup in the first couple of weeks. You win it at the end. So I think that's all that matters. Just got to keep coming together as a team. We'll be just fine.
I like the mindset. I like the setting the bar high kind of strategy there. He is Brett Kemp. We certainly wish you the best of luck for the rest of this season. What a start. Already a hat trick in the books, leading the team with 9 points, and you guys are getting set to host the Stingrays, the rival South Carolina Stingrays, coming up this Friday night at the Well. Certainly best of luck to you moving forward and with the rest of your hockey career as well, Brett. Thanks so much for joining us.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
He is Brett Kemp of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. I want to thank you for joining us here for this week's episode of In Depth with Fox Carolina Sports as well. We have another great episode for you next week. Have a great one, everyone.